ready to go this morning. So, how are you all? How's your holiday been? Saturday, Sunday, and a blessed bank holiday. Of course, blessed is the last 10 days of Ramadan. Every day is a day of giving. Every day you do some sadaqah, you do some zakat, you do some lillah, and you're going to progress further. And this is what we have to all train ourselves, discipline ourselves, that each day in the last 10 days, make a choice. What you'll do today will define you tomorrow. So that's what we say here on the radio. Your good actions plant the seeds for your good deeds. Does that sound good? Let's say it all together. Everybody at home, everybody driving. My good actions will plant the seeds for my good deeds. It's as simple as that. And that's what you have to do. We have to absolutely be the change that we want to see in this world. That's what we have to do, right? So, what have you been up to? Call in and let me know. You're listening now to Z on the Monday morning Radio Ramadan, 87.9 FM on 077 488 55055, or you can call me on 011 648 22086. So, my controller tells me with pure sign language that the first person that calls in is going to get a present. Is going to give them a gift voucher from one of the esteemed establishments in the city here. So call in right away if you want a voucher. That's what you have to do. Now, if you want to stay asleep, then carry on. You're going to lose out. You're going to lose out for sure. Is that right? My producer says yes. He's given me the thumbs up. So here today, lots going on all over. The saddest thing, all over the world, there are issues happening, charity, we are collecting every day. And we've got a message here already that I want a brew voucher. Somebody wants a brew voucher. So right away, all the team at Brew listening in, please, somebody, courier, Uber, Deliveroo, Just Eat, send a voucher. Don't send food, it'll cost you more money. Send some vouchers over here so we can be kind, generous, and donate this voucher to somebody who wants to have a bit of brew. So, the lost track there, what we were discussing there, we were discussing that during the month of Ramadan, we have to give in abundance. That's what we have to do. This dunya is a blink of an eye, brother and sister. It's a blink of an eye. We're going to come, we're going to go. So what we do in between is going to define us tomorrow in the akhirah. So that's what all the people have to be reminded of each and every day. We have to remind ourselves, we have to remind each other. And of course, what's going on in the world, right? Oxygen, it's free. It's free. You can breathe oxygen every day, right? You breathe in oxygen, you give out carbon dioxide, and this is free from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And now imagine this oxygen that you have to breathe from a tank and it's not available, right? What is free outside is not available at all. And hundreds, thousands are dying in India. And these are our brothers and sisters in humanity. And we feel for them, we feel the pain. And the families who have lost their loved ones, right? One dear friend, he lost his grandfather. He lives here in England. And he lost his grandfather there in India. And he is absolutely in turmoil. And when another family I came across, the whole family, the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, all of them are positive. And she's here in England right now, absolutely petrified and cannot get herself together. So, sometimes if it happens to you, then it makes a difference. But if it doesn't happen to you, you can't feel the pain of another. And this is how we have to all support each other in this disaster. This is a human disaster that has come to us, not out of choice. It just came out of nowhere. So the pandemic, it's called a global pandemic. It's not a pandemic which has any choices between race, color, creed, tradition, religion. culture. This pandemic has hit the whole world like a bulldozer. We don't know how it happened, where it happened. Up to today, science is trying to work out the origin. Was it a cat? Was it a bat? Was it a rat? And they still haven't worked it out yet, because you're getting mixed messages from all over the world, right? And this is very, very sad. I don't know how we are going to deal with this, how we are going to go forward, but we have to be positive and support each other, right? And come out of this very, very difficult situation. In India right now, there are many charities. They are collecting for oxygen tanks. Now, one of the charities that I'm involved with, called Teams, they are putting together a appeal for oxygen tanks, and each tank is a generator. It's an oxygen generator. It is going to cost about £500. So if anyone who wants to donate towards that, then please do contact me, and at the radio on 077 488 55055, or you can telephone me on 01164 822 086. And then what we will do is we will forward your donation, whether it's £50 or £10 or £100 or £500. We're going to forward that to India and make it possible so that these oxygen generators can help. And right now, I feel absolutely gutted that many people who have the celebrities, the super rich in India, they're having a jolly, catching a chartered flight, going to Dubai, coming to England, and having a jolly. And whereas they should be the ones coming forward to inspire the public, to reach out and make a difference. There are hundreds of celebrities in India right now. I don't see them on the news. If you see them on the news, do let me know. There are thousands of them, not hundreds. India is a population of 1.384 billion, right? And if today I'm hearing in the news that this catastrophe, the number of lives lost, is absolutely unthinkable. I don't even want to say the numbers to you, right? Because it's a figure that will absolutely upset you, depress you on this bank holiday. But it is absolutely incredible, the number of lives lost. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And how are you this morning, my good brother?
I'm fine, Zed. How are you?
Very well. And if you'd like to introduce yourself to all these listeners who are just coming out of bed this morning, not like me and you, alive and kicking. MashaAllah.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me a chance to come up on your radio. My name is Maqsood Chaudhary. Obviously, I've been living in Leicester for the last 50 years. At the moment, I'm retired and I'm trying to help as much as I can. At the moment, I'm helping an orphan institute in Lahore, Pakistan. That institute is a non-profitable institute, and they're looking after the children who have been abandoned. And there are some ladies, old ladies, some divorced, some kicked out by their daughter-in-laws, which is so shame. And they're just living in that shelter, and I'm trying to help as much as I can. Obviously, I need, and the institute needs help from all these kind people.
Of course, this is absolute an example of global kindness, global goodness. And when we are doing sadaqah, we are doing lillah, we are doing zakat across the globe, it matters not where you are sending your good deeds. It does not matter. Across the world, everybody needs support there in every country. In every country, you have seen the destitute. They are not unique to one particular country. In every single countries, in our own country that we live in, and across the globe. So always, Brother Maqsood, you have attached yourself to one particular project.
No. Let me tell you, as you know, I was the first Pakistani to cross Sahara Desert from UK up to East Africa. and I raised £4,000 for Cancer Research UK. That was done a couple of years ago. We have put a water plant and a iftari food distributor in Tanzania. Only 3 weeks ago, the food has been distributed. So we did that. I've done the same in Zanzibar. And obviously, it's not only one place.
What exactly, what did you do in Zanzibar?
In Zanzibar, what happened was when I traveled from UK to East Africa, I met this a friend of mine who is from Uganda, and he lives in Sweden. He's got a villa in Zanzibar, so we stayed there for nearly a month. And it's a big story, really, how we came to know these two ladies. One of them are now a ministerial position in Zanzibar, and her sister lives in Dar es Salaam, just about a couple of miles outside of Dar es Salaam. And we visited her village, and we found out that these young people, and very poor, they have got no water. They buy water from a bottle. So we decided, between me and my friend Manne, we decided to help them for water. And now they're getting fresh water from 9 to 12, and then in the evening they get free water. So we started this project, and then we started giving food for the poor through Ramzan. So it's not only Pakistan, we are doing it all over.
Of course, here you hear the story of one individual who himself, Brother Maqsood, if you don't mind, I'd like to share also your journey that you have gone through with prostate cancer, and you are still finding the energy to do these good works in Zanzibar, in Tanzania, in Pakistan. And this is a story for all of us to be inspired by, that despite adversity, Brother Maqsood here from Leicester, he's still very active in the... And you're retired as well, aren't you? You mentioned
I'm
earlier
retired now. Yeah.
So may Allah,
I'm retired now.
may Allah reward you and reward you for all your efforts, for your kindness, for your good deeds. And here at the radio, we say every day, your good actions plant the seeds for your good deeds. And mashallah,
we need people to denote for this
donate.
orphanage.
Yeah. So again,
I think
everybody, every day we say that if you have a project, if you're working on a project, bring it to our attention so we can air it, we can let the public know, we can let people know. You don't know. One person out there only might hear this message and send a donation out for your orphanage that you are supporting. So I'm going to ask all the people listening in, all the early birds like me and our producer here, donate some funds here. You can contact us on Ramadan Radio on 077 488 55055, and Brother Maqsood will send us a link which we're going to forward on to you, right? And Brother Maqsood, if you can send us by WhatsApp or text or email a link.
Yeah, I can.
And,
what I will do is I will send you the account number, sorting code, and the name of the actual orphan center in Lahore, right? And I will WhatsApp you, and then if you can pass that over to somebody, whoever it is. By the way, let me take this opportunity to tell you that when I was crossing Sahara Desert, small villages, edge of Sahara Desert, very poor people, right? But their heart was like a gold. They gave us food. They wouldn't take money from us. We met somebody in Mali. this boy, he's graduated, and he actually works in a hotel. We stayed over there in a hotel, and he helped us a lot. I send him Eid money from here. Their family is in a place called Timbuktu.
Yes,
It's,
Timbuktu is very famous.
Yes,
Always
his
used.
family lives there. Yeah, his family lives there, and obviously he introduced me with their family. He's got two sisters. They're virtually hand to mouth, and we. I don't know whether you know Shiraz and
Yes,
Nisar.
yes, I know them. Yeah.
Nisar, myself. We collected some money and we sent it over to him
Mm.
for the Eid, and they managed to do Qurbani because they couldn't do Qurbani.
Mm.
So it's not only Pakistan. It's wherever I find somebody, I try to help. End of the day, when you're going to leave this world, you're not going to take anything with you.
Of course,
It's going to be
we come with nothing
cup
and
of-
we leave with nothing, and whatever we do in between is what's going to define us for our akhirah, right? So this
Yes.
month of Ramadan, last 10 days, absolutely what Brother Maqsood is telling us all, and what we talk about every day, is that what we do today is going to define us tomorrow. So, Brother Maqsood,
You see, this. Can I give you a bit more information on this institute? This institute is a non-profitable institute, right? They've got a place which is on a rent. The rent is high, and the landlord obviously he wouldn't budge in to reduce it. So they have to pay the rent. They have to feed the children. They have to clothe them. They have to do education for them. They are
how many
even-
children? How many children in this
At
institute?
the moment, you won't believe it. It started with 2 or 3 children. Now they've got nearly 40 children.
Of
And
course,
they've got
yeah.
a couple of old ladies who've been kicked out, and some divorcees and widows. So these divorcees and widows, what we have done is we've supplied them with 2 sewing machines. I've done that personally from my pocket.
And how
so
much
that
does
they can-
one sewing machine cost?
I actually sent them, it was total of nearly about 52 to, I haven't got the exact figure.
Of course, the sewing machine is there so that they can have some sustainability, right? They can move
it's,
forward.
they've got sewing machine now. They don't want that now. They've already got it. I think they were roughly between 13 to 14,000 rupees, a good one.
That's right. Now, Brother Maqsood, right this minute, there are so many things happening throughout the world during this period of pandemic, which nobody knew about, right? And this is very, very sad to report. 3 cargo planes carrying 300 tons of medical aid destined for India from Qatar.
Yes.
And the Indian variant is now coming to the UK. It's reached Malaysia. And you're talking about news that may be equivalent to the Holocaust from the Second World War, that the number of lives that are lost every day. And the official death rate is 3,000 a day.
I know.
Right?
I've been watching that.
And this is what's reported in the news, Brother Maqsood. But, the real figure is more than that. What's reported is 3,000, but the real figure can be much more than that. Nobody has a clue, right? And
I totally agree with you. I mean, we can help as much as we can. After all, they're human beings.
And of course, there's a curb on social media. If you say something, do something, you may get caught and you may get prosecuted, arrested, and this is what's happening, because social media comes to the rescue, but those, many will perceive it as the enemy, right? So when you hear about 200 people being cremated together, it is very, very sad. And I think so.
Just to give you more information about myself, if people who are listening in Leicester, they most probably know me by my company's name, Sound and Vision Center. So,
of course, Sound and Vision Center, the famous shop on the famous Evington Road. And of course,
service department,
we are here on Evington Road, as you're aware.
Yeah, I know. And I've done most of the mosques have done the sound system over there. Like Masjid Umar. Then there's another mosque, Masjid Falah. These are all done by myself.
Did you do the Maiman Center? Did you do their sound
Sorry?
system? The Maiman Center.
The Maiman Center, I didn't do it. There is one on Gypsy Lane. The mosque was open over there. I did that one also, and I did Regent Mosque. One of the biggest mosques in London.
Mashallah.
I did.
They don't
did
get
all
any
that.
bigger. They don't get any bigger than Regent Street Mosque, do they?
No, that was a big
project.
job I did.
Yeah, of course. You are well familiar with the Evington Road because your shop was here. I remember your father had a shop here back in the 70s, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that. My family. My grandfather, Nemeth Ali. He was the first Muslim Asian to get MBE in Kenya when he was working there. So I do my best.
of course, now it's been many years since you left this Evington Road, and
I know. I went into the 3.5 square feet warehouse where there was my high-tech workshop. It's now an Islamic institute where they teach those people who have embraced Islam, non-Muslims.
of course,
It's run by Maulana Sindhi.
mashallah, that's in Highfields area, isn't it?
That's in Orson Street. Yes.
Orson Street, yeah. Maulana Sindhi runs that. I remember Maulana Sindhi used to have a place nearby London Road previously.
Yes, that's what. And then the one which I was running, that's where he is now. It's the biggest, 3,500 square foot.
Of course, tomorrow you may be interested. If you can tune in at 9 a.m. We are talking about Evington Road as to how Evington Road has changed over the years, and
I'll do my best.
where all the shops that were here before, they've all gone now,
I'll do my
and they've all been replaced by all the food and the F&B business, the food and beverage business in Evington Road. And what we're all doing right now to make some improvements here and to make this road a place that everybody wants to come and visit, So there's a lot of things, many people here today were not even here when you were here in the
I know. It's a long time ago.
I think you started your shop here in mid-70s, didn't you?
60s. Mid-70s, yes.
Mid-70s, yeah.
But to be honest with you, the reason I'm talking to you is for this orphan center.
Well, of course, we are going to continue to promote that.
Even a small amount will do.
Of course, all of you listening in right now, any small amount, and I don't care if it's £1 or it's £50, it's £100, it's your intention. It's your intention, isn't it? And this intention will be multiplied 10 times, 100 times. So please be donating every day for the next 10 days into different projects.
Also, you say looking after orphans. That's what our duty is.
Of course.
You know that.
Of course. I know that more than many people out there, that this is a duty, and we should continue with this and never ever forget that. And of course, we've been talking now. We've talked about the Sahara, the Timbuktu, and we've talked about the orphanage, and we talked about Evington Road, and we talked about India, the COVID situation over there. And time just has flown by, Brother Maqsood. We have only 33 seconds left. And when we are at the last 5 seconds, our control room, they start doing those hand signals like you see at the airport, when a plane is landing. In the old days, when the one person was in front of the plane making those signals. And that's what he's doing already now at 13 seconds.
What I'll do is I will WhatsApp you the account.
We got to talk to you later because we're going to now have a little break. Jazakallah khair for listening to us on Ramadan Radio.
Thanks for giving
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye bye.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers and sisters, we are back here now for the second session on Ramadan Radio 87.9 FM. I'd like to welcome you all once again. And again, we had one caller and he took away the brew voucher, and some more brew vouchers are on the way, as I'm told as I speak. They're on the way here. I don't know how they're coming, whether they're coming by bicycle, by Uber, by Deliveroo, but get them here fast. I'm waiting for someone to call in now on 077 488 55055. And of course, somebody sent a text already saying that, have you got Chai Wala vouchers? Of course, I've got to contact them now immediately and tell them, get some vouchers up here, please, quickly. And then, vouchers. Everybody's got a preference. And of course, today, we have a wonderful guest here to join us, Nabila Ismail. She is one of our lead young presenters at Radio Ramadan. And of course, you all know that we have absolutely reached out to the community far afield to say that we need the young people to come forward. These are the youngsters who are going to shape our community tomorrow. They are the ones who are going to make a difference. And of course, they're going to do things differently. They have a different way of working to the way we have been working. So I'm going to be very interested to hear some ideas from Sister Nabila as to what has she got a plan. She's got a plan. I know she has. And she's one of those who believes that if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. You plan to fail, you fail to plan. So work that one out yourself. I'm going to say it slowly now so you can grasp it, because you are asleep at home and still waking up and energizing. It's like this. This is how it goes. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. You got it? Yes, put your hand up if you've got it, and let's have some good intellectual discussions here. Nabila, assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, Zed?
Well, as you can see, I'm full of positive energy, right?
Oh, I admire it. On a bank holiday Monday.
Hear it in my voice, right? And you can feel it in my actions. That's how it goes. Nabila Ismail, tell the world at large what, when, why, where, how. Just run us through what you do, where you are, and what's happening.
Okay. So I'm Nabila, born and bred Leicester girl, lived in Highfields and then moved to Evington. So still very much in the heart of the community. I guess my journey started many years ago, probably, I must have been about 18 years old, a young person myself. And it was our local masjid that had started up like a Saturday youth program. But the idea was it was supposed to be a place where the naughty kids at madrasa had to go, like an extra class, right? My brother was involved in the masjid at the time with some of his friends, one of whom came on one of our youth programs earlier, Shazib. And we just thought, okay, let's try and engage with these young kids. They were, from the age of like 11 to 16, and really identify what it is that's happening in madrasa that they're not engaging. Anyway, it was a real success because actually all they needed was a different style of teaching. So it wasn't just sort of sitting down and focusing, because they were unable to do that. But off the back of that, we learned quite quickly that we just needed to think about really diverse activities. At that time, I remember there was very little resources available, Islamic resources. And actually you'd have to go online to try and find resources from places like Malaysia and other countries who are a little bit ahead of the game. But in a nutshell, what we did is we adapted to their style. And alhamdulillah, because word spread so quickly, it wasn't just the naughty kids, I say naughty kids, that were attending. It was, a lot of other children who wanted to come to this Saturday program. It was a big success. And then I think that's where the interest really started. Then during sort of my years, I didn't have much to do whilst I was at university with youth projects. I supported projects in Peterborough with fundraising efforts particularly. And then when I came back to Leicester, there was an active youth organisation, Empower Youth Academy, which was delivering youth projects on the ethos about providing positive role models for young people and ensuring that they have equal life opportunities to access. And then when that stopped, I've been doing very much informal work with what I'd call my circle of contacts. So it might be sort of my nieces and nephews and their friends by extension, and working on projects mostly around empowering young Muslim girls. But during that time, I've also done a master's in youth work and community development. And I think that's where the real passion was sort of ingrained. And it was like, this is something that we must be focusing on as a community. I hope that's enough.
Well, that is absolutely more than enough, right? Now, you said that you've done a master's in youth and community development work. Mm-hmm. Of course, we had some interesting discussions here with some youngsters who are looking to shape up tomorrow's future here in our city. And obviously, we want our youngsters to come forward. Would you have an idea of what is the population of the young people in the city? Like when I say young, I would say right up to 25.
No idea about that figure, no.
Of course, that would be interesting to find out, so if you could look into that, because then we can pin it down to say, well, what do we have to do and how do we make this plan?
Well, the issue is big. If you think about how many schools, secondary schools, for example, we have just in the city alone, just in this sort of locality, I guess, and you think about all of those young people, and then if you're thinking up until the age of 25, again, it's huge. It's a big, big number. And often, we're not looking at, when it comes to youth work, it's about trying to be quite targeted and ensuring that those who need the support the most have access to that support. Historically, and going back probably well over a decade ago, if not more, you'd hear of a lot more youth projects. So during the summertime, there might be funding available for local organisations to deliver projects in their local communities. There was a lot more going on. Libraries were buzzing with much more activities. Over the years, what we've found is that the funding has gone. Central government funding has dried up. Local councils no longer have that money available to deliver projects in their local areas. And this is where there has been, from a youth worker perspective, a big impact. When we're saying that we recognise there's drug issues, we recognise there's antisocial behaviour hotspots in the city where young people are congregating and just at pure boredom, they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing. We recognise that mental health is on the rise. And one of the key things to support young people with that is having a safe space where they can speak about these things. That's just, touching on some of the big stuff. And then sitting within that, you've got things like, specific issues for boys, specific issues for girls. And then, there's the whole cultural stuff that comes with it. So a young sort of British Asian young person's experience might be very different to someone who's white, someone who's black. It's so complicated. But the idea with youth work is that it really unpicks some of that stuff, so that if a project is based in Evington, it very quickly identifies what the needs are of that local area. And the way that's achieved is through really meaningful consultation, talking to them, making no assumptions and saying, okay, we've got a blank canvas, but how do we build this up? Let's start talking and involving those young people in that decision-making process.
Of course, now here is very important for all our listeners and everyone listening right now. The diversities, the number of diversities we have in the city is just incredible, isn't it? Or every decade we have 3 or 4 different people that come from across the globe. So how many diversities are you dealing with every day?
At the moment, I've not done any active youth work, but historically it was mostly sort of South Asian young people. When I was doing detached youth work, so this was going out, I was working for the county council at the time, working in Blaby, South Wigston, and we'd go out into the parks and meet with young people there. And of course, the demographics there are very, very different. So, you'd have very few, well, I suppose I didn't encounter any Muslim young people there. They were white British, couple of black people, but then also some others. But it was very different. So their issues are very different to what we might face here in the city. But again, the reason why detached youth work is so important is because you're going to the spaces where young people congregate. You can open your doors to a community centre and say, hey, we're open, come and visit us and come and engage in these activities. But often those young people that need the help the most are less likely to come to those centres. But if you were to take your activities to where they congregate, there's very good engagement, and we learn that, and it's a really positive way of building up change over a long period of time. It doesn't happen straight away, I still remember there was one young person who didn't want to talk to us really when we were out. We'd take hot chocolate, we'd take some biscuits and things like this, and something that we can talk about, whatever the topic was of the day. And there was this one person he didn't, and it must have been after maybe 8, 9, 10 months where he decided to actually come along and say, what are you guys doing? But we don't force it on them. We say, we're here if you need us, come and talk to us. So yeah, it really, when it comes to, I suppose, the diversity, I think most of my experience comes from working with the South Asian community.
Of course, here at the radio, we say that our life is almost in 3 sectors, 0 to 25, 25 to 50, and we're on the third sector, 50 to 75. So people like ourselves, myself who's on the third sector, what is our input got to be to facilitate those in the first sector? What do we have to do?
Big question. I think when you speak to young people, one thing you really recognize quite quickly is that the older generation are very good at scapegoating, labeling, making assumptions at large, right? So, we might hear some really scary news headlines and somehow that's sort of fixed in our head that all young people are like that. So, or you might hear of so-and-so's son's doing drugs or so-and-so's daughter's involved in X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden there's this big label around this age group of people. And those assumptions, I think, are quite unhealthy because off the back of that, what happens is that young people aren't feeling empowered, right? So they almost feel like any decisions concerning their life are being made by someone or people who don't fully understand their lives, right? Does that make sense? And so I think when it comes to talking about young people with the older generation, I think it's really recognizing that there's so much potential, there's so much capital, there's so much more good stuff than the bad stuff, And actually, when there is some of the more difficult issues, and some young people are facing some really challenging times, often there is a root cause behind that.
Now,
so
here's a solution I want to put forward, right?
Okay.
Perhaps me and you can work on this together. Now,
Inshallah.
you know that we are in the midst of the Swift generation. The Swift generation, for those of you who don't know, is... do you know what the Swift generation is?
You've educated me because I was listening to your show.
Well, here we are. I'm going to remind you all again that we all got to get to terms. When Nabila is saying that we older people, we don't engage enough or we don't know enough about the lives that the young people are going through. The Swift generation is the Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. So the Twitter comes after that, a dash and a TikTok gets added to that, and that is a Swift generation. So how about if we communicate using these platforms, even with the older people, because today even all the older guys in the second sector or third sector are using a WhatsApp, to map it out to them that, hey, guys, this is what's happening, you're not abreast of what's going on. And then we get through to as many people as possible to shorten the bridge, as they say, the gap in the way we think, the way the young people think. And, we make a difference like that. And we have to reach out to each other.
Absolutely. There's definitely more of a need for dialogue. I think that's really important. Equally, we can advocate for young people, but in the same breath, I'd like to say that, with the older generation, of course, they've seen so many more struggles and experience so much more in life. And it's very natural for them to have a certain way of working, to develop projects or engage with communities. When you think about many years ago when there was very few masjids in Leicester, and how communities got together, that was sort of the older generation now who have had these experiences of just getting on with it, just get up and get on with it. We have to do this. And I think those are the stories that are probably most powerful, and it would be unfair for young people to expect that actually, no, older people should be engaging with us on social media platforms. Actually, that's not the world that the older generation have been brought up on.
That won't happen, but even if we create awareness both ways, we can make a difference.
And I think it is about sharing those stories about real activism in our localities, because we don't talk about it in that way, but it really is. There's been some significant change in Leicester as a result of some of the big work that the old generation have been involved in, which the younger generation are just not aware of.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's awareness is what it's all about. And we say earlier on in the week we discussed I don't have a clue. It was a session we did. And it's true, we don't have a clue about this, that, and the other. And if we make a plan that the 2021 census is now about coming out soon, and if we look at that census and we break down all our different diversities in the city, now, if I was to ask you, for example, which is the most spoken language in the city, what would you say?
A wild guess would be maybe, I don't know, Gujarati?
No. The most spoken language in the city is English.
Oh my God, that was a trick question.
Yeah, it's English. So you see what I said when I said, we don't have a clue? That's what I meant. We live in I don't have a clue society.
Minority languages.
We don't have a clue. We don't have a clue. Guys, we live our lives like that. We don't have a clue. That's why every day is a day of learning. My brothers, my sisters, you are never going to be short of learning. Even the day you depart this world, you will be learning something, right? So we got to be ready all the time to learn these things. What's the second most spoken language in the city?
Gujarati?
Of course, there you are. You got it right. So little bit confusion there. English and Gujarati. Gujarati is the second most spoken language. So with that note, I will say to everybody, Kem cho tame? Tame saru che? Su khadu, su pidu? This is Gujarati.
Very good said.
This is demonstrating that I can speak some Gujarati language. Of course, there are many, many other languages. There's one language called Memonic. Do you know that language? It's spoken by Memons.
Yeah, Kiai, all right, Dai.
Hi, Kiai, all right, Dai. That's the Memon language, this language which I'm also looking to master. So there are up-teen number of languages. If there are about 40 diversities in the city, then there are about 80 languages in the city, right? So this is like basic education, isn't it? For us to embrace each other is to even know, well, what's the most spoken language, what's the second, third, fourth, and what is the population of all these different diversities in the city. So we can share all this with each other, and most of this is available on the net. And how often does anyone go and check and look? But it's something we can share on the social media platforms. And the more awareness we have, the better we're going to be, aren't we?
I think it's just the busyness of life. I think a lot of people I speak to recognize that something needs to happen, to create some long-term change, but time is just not on their side. And actually, that seems to be the big barrier often, about doing something significant, learning about other communities, engaging with other communities. And, over the years, we've just seen how very quickly, we've that community aspect is sort of disintegrating, where when I was growing up, it was so common to meet extended family on a weekly basis, if not daily at times. But that doesn't happen as much. People are a lot more busier. There's a recognition that, the 9-to-5 job is quite tiring. So you think twice before.
Sorry, Nabila, to interrupt you, because the airline hand signals have started in the control room.
We're out of time.
The hand signals are starting. The left hand is going up, the right hand is going up, and we got 12 seconds to go. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us today on Ramadan Radio, 87.9 FM. We look forward to joining you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Jazakallah khair. So we shall catch up again